What's good, Game of Thrones fans? This is the Campfire Crew here. We're talking about Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 3. We've got 7 favorite moments that we want to talk about, and we're going to kick this thing off. I'm Campfire Rich.
I'm Campfire Nate, and moment number 1 is probably something I've been thinking about ever since last week, was what the crap is Jon going to do when he wakes up? How is that going to go? What's he going to say? How's he going to be? I mean, so many things that you wanted to know. And he wakes up, he's kind of in like almost a shock state, kind of a little off. You can kind of tell like something's not quite right, and, Davos comes in there, gives him a shirt, kind of covers him up, kind of. And then, of course, you got Melisandre in there. Like, what did you see? She so wants to know what's on the other side. Right. If you remember back, she said the same thing to Beric Dondarrion. What did you see? Nothing. There's nothing. Right. And she asked Jon, and Jon's like, there's nothing. And she just can't seem to understand that, guess what? Your God doesn't have a heaven, apparently, and there's some terrible things over there.
She's concerned because she's already got one foot in the grave. I mean, you see how old she is.
Yeah, I know, right? So, yeah, I was excited about that.
Yeah, it was neat. I did appreciate that he remembered that he should be dead. He's like, when he's touching and he's filling the holes, he's just in shock. Like, I was dead. Now I'm alive. What the crap am I supposed to do now? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You got Davos there. He's the new Jiminy Cricket. Just giving advice and stuff like that, which I thought was cool. I'm still confused as to what Davos's function, like why he's so concerned. But for whatever reason, I'm glad that he is, because he's the reason why
show. He's the show's audience. He's the show. Davos is taking the part of the people watching the show, saying, "You need to bring Jon back now."
I know.
Okay, here you go, Jon. Here's a coat.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. But the only thing that disappointed me was I wanted, and I don't know how anybody else felt, how y'all felt about it, but I wanted a more decisive, firm Jon when he came back. Okay, it's time to get real. This is what's about to go down. Show me the people who betrayed me. Let me take care of that. Let me group people up. He's still very unsure, scared even. And I'm okay with that. Depending on where the story goes, I'm just a little disappointed because I wanted to see more from that. But anyway, let's move on to favorite moment number 2, and that is the Tower of Joy. Man, that dude can fight. And I love that scene. Like, it was amazing. It was cool because I was hoping they would do it right. You had this big build up about this night, and I was like, let's see what he can really do. And they showed us. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, the fight was awesome. It was everything I was hoping it was going to be. It was really, they did a good job, with the people who set up, stunt coordinators and stuff like that. That made the fight really good. I was really excited about that. The thing for me that I thought was really interesting, which I don't know if some people kind of know, but when Bran kind of called out to Ned, right, and he almost kind of like heard him, that's interesting because in the books, he can't really there's kind of the illusion that maybe he possibly, he can't actually can change things. You know what I'm saying? You can't, Three-Eyed Raven said, the past is in ink. You can't change it, basically.
Right.
But he did hear him. So you can't help from being wondering, what's up with that, and kind of think, what could possibly that change in the future? What might happen? Right. Will Bran figure out a way to maybe change the past, change the future? Who knows? But that opens up a whole can of worms.
It was very interesting because it was very apparent that he stopped, he turned, he looked behind him. We heard the screaming. We heard the birth. I mean, those were birth screams.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Ain't no other kind of, Nate, was funny because you messaged in the group. It was just like, Happy Mother's Day. And yeah, that's what it was. I was ticked, man. They cut us off. They're going to tease us like that. I'm like, man, just go ahead and show us. We already know what it is. Quit dragging it out. But alas, that's what it was. Nate, take us into favorite. Oh, go ahead. Do you have something else?
No, I was just going to say, I actually kind of like the fact that they teased us, because it's something that we've been waiting for this long. I can wait a little bit longer.
For sure. Definitely.
I can wait a little bit longer. But moving on, number 3 is that, we start to see Varys kind of, again, still working to try to figure out who the leader of the Sons of the Harpy is. And they draw back to a character that you kind of forget about, this girl who's in leagues with them, who's helping them kill the Unsullied. And, I kind of forgot. I knew who she was. And it was when they showed us in the clip, the preview clip, I was like, okay, she's going to come back. So, Varys being really, really smooth, like, hey, listen, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not even going to hurt your kid, but man, wouldn't it suck if your kid didn't have a mom? You know what I'm saying? Like, he played it so smooth.
Right.
He's like, oh, look at this big bag of silver. I can't carry this bag of silver. You know what I'm saying? Like, he played it really cool. And you start to see that basically the people who are funding this are all the people from all the places that she's liberated, these masters. So the fact that they know that is going to be really interesting to see how they use that to their advantage. I mean, what are they going to do with that? But I'm sure between him and Tyrion, they're going to come up with some kind of scheme for sure.
Yeah, I mentioned before how I kind of like Varys and Tyrion, the team up here, the double-edged sword, if you will. You got Varys getting the information, finding out information, and then Tyrion, you see him kind of formulating a plan. Can you get a message through your birds to these people and things like that? Like Tyrion's going to start working something out, and so I'm interested in that because I love Tyrion and I like the way his mind works and the stuff he brings to this episode. So let's move on to favorite moment number 4. Speaking of little birds, Cersei now has her own little flock of birds with her buddy giving candy out to kids, and she's on a mission. She's like, I want to know if people are talking about me crapping myself, walking down the steps naked and all this stuff. Like, she's still out on a vengeance, and now it's scary because she has ears that she's spreading out everywhere to get any information. So I guess so she could send a mountain to smash somebody's head back into the wall again.
Well, it was funny when they had that, and she's like, I want to know if people are talking. And I'm like, oh, so that's how, because last time that dude just kind of, he's talking, he's just minding his own business. And it'd be kind of creepy to think that, the mountain's just kind of wandering around and walking up behind people to see if they're going to turn around,
He ain't creeping nowhere. It's big and...
No, he's clink, clink. But I mean, just the fact that he's just like right there. So apparently there is definitely, she's at the point where she's like, hey, you know what? Big or small, I'm taking my vengeance out on everybody.
Right.
But the other interesting thing about the scene was the fact that they did allude to the fact that what she did was just part of her penance, that they are still going to have basically a jury to kind of decide. And then she's like, hey, I don't care. I got this guy. I'm going to say trial by combat. And I got him. So who in the world could possibly beat the mountain?
Who would they get? There's got to be a wiggle room that the Sparrows are going to judge. Like, oh, this doesn't apply in this court. By this court.
That's kind of the secret. I think I know, and I think I'm going to talk about that in my video Thursday.
All right. So coming up Thursday, a little break, Game of Thrones breakdown.
I got some ideas for that.
All right.
But moving on to number 5 was Arya. Okay, man, I've been so I feel so bad for her because every time I watch, man, she's getting the crap kicked out of her. We got to see her do a straight up training like Daredevil style to the point where she was able to actually, knock this girl back, block and everything. And it was really cool. They did it real fast. And so it was really neat to see that. And then ultimately she gets her vision back. And I can't help from feeling like she's got a purpose again. Like we all want to know what she's going to do. Okay. I feel like they have a plan for her. They have a mission for her. And this was just, hey, this is training up to it. And I think we're going to find out what that is next week.
They've done a very good job with Arya's story arc completely. I'm so every time they go to Arya, I'm totally, hooked in. Hey, we go to Sam on the boat. He's throwing up. I'm like, can we please cut this out and move to something cool? And we get to Arya, and we get a nice extended version of her getting slapped around. And when she starts coming around, like, I'm blind and I can take you on now. What you think I'm going to do when I get my vision? I'm excited to see where that progresses. It almost made it seem like that girl's like, is there somebody else on your list? It was, for some reason, I just felt like Arya wanted to say, yeah, you're on my list, and I'm going to kill you, just so you know. I'm just saying.
It did kind of feel like she was trying to coax that out of her. Like, we're like, listen, we're doing this for your own good. Are we on that list now?
Didn't she seem scared when she asked? Like, Arya was just like, what name would you want the girl to say? And the girl seemed like, never was like, not my name.
Yeah, no, it definitely seemed like there was something there, but maybe we'll find out more about that next time.
All right. Favorite moment number 6, Ramsey. gets a gift. The gift is Rickon. And the wildling chick that was with them. This was a cool scene. I like how that guy was kind of talking smack to Ramsey, like, I'm not bowing down to you. I'm not kissing your hand. Your father, he played by the rules, and should we have trusted him? This, that, and the third. By the way, I got a gift, and there's a direwolf head. So that was a very important scene because now Ramsey has one of the Starks.
And also another direwolf has died. At this point, we're running low on these. I don't know how many we got left. At this point, we got Ghost and I think Nymeria, which is Sansa's that ran away because no. Was it Sansa's? I think it's Sansa's wolf is the only one that's left, and she's run away. And they only talk about her in the book, so she's kind of running around with her own little wolf pack, taking people out. Just like, I don't know if she's got like a mission, or that might actually be Arya's wolf. I can't remember now that I'm thinking about it. But there is basically down to 2 wolves, and it was sad to see. I believe his wolf name was Shaggy Dog.
Wait, let me ask you. Didn't Sansa's wolf is one that got killed in season 1? Remember, maybe Arya's attacked, but then she sent her off and she ran off. So it was like one dire wolf, just kill one for punishment. And I think it was Sansa's.
It was Sansa's that got killed. Yeah. So Arya's wolf is still out and about, and Jon's wolf, of course, is there. So yeah, man, we're running out of dire wolves. Yeah. So that's kind of sad. But on to the ending, the best part, the part that I've been waiting for a while, is that we finally get Sir Alliser Thorne and the little prick known as Ollie. They finally get their comeuppance. Okay, yep. The other 2 guys, you know what? We don't even remember your names. I'm sure I could come up with them if I thought about it. But who cares? They're dead too. I love that moment. Instead of, I was wondering when they were walking out there, it was like, it's time, and he's walking out there. I'm like, oh, crap, what's he going to do? Have to do like a four-way beheading?
Right.
He's just going to line them up and just, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. So when I saw him started hanging there, I was like, oh, interesting. They're going to, mix it up a little bit, So they got there and you could kind of see, again, they're like talking and you get this look on Jon's face. He looks different. Like he kind of looks like he's a little off. And I'm kind of excited about that. I like the idea of him being kind of a little bit more aggressive. And you really didn't see it. You still were kind of like, what's the deal with Jon? What's the deal? And, Sir Alliser Thorne's like sitting there talking to him basically like, hey, listen, I'd do it again. Mm-hmm. Like he's just like, I did what I did. And he kind of leans up like, go ahead, I'm ready, And I thought that was, of course, that's in character for him.
That's what I was about to say. You got to respect him because he was him through and through all the way to the end. Mm-hmm. I was disappointed because part of the excitement was I wanted to see the look on his face of shock and terror, seeing Jon come back and like, oh my goodness, I made a huge mistake. But he wasn't bowing down. He didn't care. He was like, hang me.
Yeah, I kind of wanted Jon just to be like, boo, like go down to wherever they're holding him and they'll be like, oh crap, right. just really mess with him. But yeah, no. And then with Ollie, like Jon just didn't even have nothing to say to him. Like, and Ollie's just looking at him with disgust. Like he knew at that point, as much as he cared for Ollie. Like, and it was even funny. People pointed out last week from last episode, you saw like with the fight in the courtyard that what's the name went to when Benjen and Ned were fighting, right. And he was like, hold your shield up or I'll ring you like a bell. That's the same thing that Jon was saying to him when they were training.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So Jon looked at him as like a little brother, and I mean he got betrayed by him. So when Jon kind of walked off a little bit and was kind of had the sad look on his face, it's like, man, don't make the same mistake twice. And you know what? It was like instantaneously, it was gone. Yeah. And it was whoosh, done.
He even made the point at the beginning where he just said, Ollie, he stabbed me through the heart. I think they could be symbolic as well as obviously physically stabbed through the heart. But like, hey.
He broke his heart.
Yeah. Maybe that turns him cold. Maybe that hanging is maybe what changes Jon. And I still get the Jon that I want, which is the more aggressive. Because he turns his little cloak over and just like, my watch has ended.
My watch has ended.
And that was the best line. That made me so excited. Yeah. Like when he basically walked over to him and he handed it to him. He's like, what do you want me to do with this? He's like, I don't care. Do whatever. Burn it. Whatever. He's like, my watch has ended. Boom. Mic drop. That was it. That's where it ended. That's where it should have ended.
Do you think the Night's Watch is just going to look around at each other and be like, we're just going to follow him? Do you think they're going to do that, or do you think they're going to sit there and try to hold the wall? Because I think
maybe 1 or 2. I don't know. Maybe Ed will come. I don't know, man. I feel like they're gonna stay. Because at this point, they still need to do what they need to do, and the White Walkers are still coming. Ed knows about that. I feel like maybe Ed's going to be the one that kind of takes that. Well, I guess I'll be Lord Commander in his absence or whatever, and kind of keep it there. But as we saw from the previews, we're going to have Sansa and Brienne there next week, which I'm super excited about. I mean, finally, we're going to have two Starks together.
If Jon doesn't leave before she gets there.
No, he's not going to leave. They ain't going to do that to us. If they do that to us, I'm going to flip my couch over. I'll be so stinking bad. I will flip out. But no, I'm really excited for that. Yeah. So we'll see.
Pretty good episode. Not a crazy amount of action other than Tower of Joy, which for me was enough. And then the death of Ollie and Thorn. So, some big stuff happened. We'll see what happens next week. I hope you like this episode. Let us know down in the comment section below what were your favorite moments from this episode. Like the video. If you like the video, give us a sub. Check out more stuff. Like you said, Nate has got a Game of Thrones breakdown about a particular topic Thursday. And, hey, man, until next time, we out.
See ya.